Brooke, everybody. Round of applause for Brooke. Hi, Brooke.
That's good.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun.
Thanks. So I'm the mom of two little girls, ages 10 and 8. And when my second daughter was born, my husband and I came to the decision that when it came time to talk about becoming a woman, the birds and the bees, that responsibility would be mine. And I was completely fine with it. And then that day came. And let's just say it didn't go quite according to plan. So we were hosting a party at our house about 18 months ago with our play group. And these are 7 other couples. We've spent the last 10 years with them. Our kids have all grown up together. And so there was, at one point, all the moms were in the kitchen, and all of us have firstborns that are daughters, and they're all about 5 months apart, with my daughter being the youngest. And I don't know what happened, but we all started talking about who has told their daughter what. And as the conversation went around the room, it became painfully clear to me that my husband Tom and I were way behind the curve. And this really bothered me. So it must have shown on my face because we're going to bed that night. My husband Tom looked at me and he goes, "What's wrong?" And I told him what happened in the kitchen. And he said, "Well, okay." He said, "Well, let's think about what you want to say to her. And like over the next few weeks, we can kind of start going down that path." And I'm like, "The next few weeks? No, we have to deal with this tomorrow." And he said, whoa, I know you're a perfectionist, type A, all that kind of stuff, but why tomorrow? I said, no, we got to deal with this tomorrow. He goes, "Don't you want to plan? Don't you want to think about this? This is kind of huge." I'm like, "What's there to think about? I share her body parts. I've been through this. How hard could this be?" He's like, "Fine." So the next day, he takes our youngest daughter out, and I take Emery, our oldest daughter, to the Route 66 diner for hamburgers. And so we go in and we order, and our lunch comes. Now, it's important to know that my oldest daughter, Emery, has autism. She's very, very high functioning, but she has trouble reading social cues, and every now and then she will blurt out something that's semi-inappropriate at a volume that's just a little too loud. And so I start going into all of that, and I had made the decision that all we were going to talk about was getting your period. So I go into the whole thing, and I finish, and she's listening really intently. And so I finish, and I said, "So, honey, do you have any questions?" And she pauses, and she goes, "I have 2. Awesome. This is great. We're going to bond. I said, "Hit me up. What do you got?" She goes, "Well, you said that this period thing happens so women can have babies, right?" I said, "Right." She goes, "But what if I don't want babies?" I said, "Well, honey, that's the sucky thing. It's going to happen to you no matter what because you're a girl." She goes, "Okay," and takes an enormous bite of her hamburger. And I'm waiting because there's that second question. And I'm waiting, and it's like an eternity. She finally finishes. I said, "Sweetie, you said you had a second question." She goes, "Oh, yeah." And without missing a beat, and in a volume you could hear 3 towns over, she goes, "Mommy, what does fuck mean?" You could hear a pin drop in this restaurant. And our waitress had gone to get refills for our drinks, and she had reached our table right when Emery dropped the F-bomb, and she just kept on going. And I looked over to the booth over here, and it was this elderly couple just giving me that look. And I thought, oh my God, how am I gonna get out of this? And then I just had that moment. I said, "You know what, no. I'm gonna be that progressive mom. I'm gonna deal with this. We're just gonna put it all out on the table." And I said, "Sweetie, here's what that word means. A man has a penis." So a man gets an erection. A woman lies down and a man gets on hot. You know what, honey? It's a very ugly word for something very beautiful between 2 people, and we'll talk about it another time. She goes, "Okay," and finishes eating her hamburger. So we go home, and my husband is chomping at the bit, and he goes, "So, how did it go?" Told him what happened, and he broke into about 10 minutes straight of laughter. And when he finally came out of it, I said, if you say I told you so, you're going to lose a testicle. I said, and he just looked at me and he goes, so what did we learn, Sherlock? And I said, that sometimes planning conversations have the point, and I will never again do it in a public place. Thank you.